Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Light. The year was 1847. In a small town called Milan, Ohio in America, a boy was born. His name was Thomas Alva Edison. From the very beginning, Thomas was different. He asked too many questions, loved taking things apart, and was always curious about how the world worked. But school was not easy for him. He didn't learn in the way his teachers expected. After just a few months, one teacher told his mother, "Your son is a slow learner. He will never do well in school." Thomas's mother, Nancy Edison, did not agree. She decided to teach him at home herself. She believed in him, and that belief became Thomas's greatest strength. The little scientist. Young Thomas turned the basement of his house into a small laboratory. He collected bottles, chemicals, and tools. At just 10 or 11 years old, he was already experimenting like a real scientist. Sometimes his experiments caused little explosions, and his mother would rush in worried. When Thomas was 12, he started selling newspapers on trains. With the money he earned, he bought books and materials for his experiments. One day, he even set up a small lab inside the train. But during one experiment, a fire broke out, and he was forced to shut it down. Hearing loss. When Thomas was a child, a serious illness damaged his hearing. For the rest of his life, he could only hear partially. But instead of feeling sad about it, he said, "My deafness is a blessing. It allows me to focus on my work without distractions." First invention. At 16, Thomas invented a telegraph machine that could send train signals. He kept improving telegraph technology, but he didn't just want to be an engineer. His dream was to create inventions that could change everyday life for ordinary people. The search for light. In the 1870s, the world used candles and oil lamps for light at night. These were dangerous and didn't give much light. Thomas Edison thought, "Can I make a light that is safe, cheap, and long-lasting?" Other inventors had already tried to make electric bulbs, but they couldn't find a filament, the wire inside the bulb, that lasted long. Edison worked on the problem with incredible determination. He made over 10,000 experiments. After every failure, he would say, "I have not failed. I've just found another way that doesn't work." Finally, in 1879, he made a bulb that could glow for 40 hours. Soon he improved it to last 200 hours. This was a revolution. Edison's work method. Edison built a huge laboratory where a team of scientists worked with him. He believed, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, meaning having an idea is important, but hard work is what makes it real. More inventions. Apart from the bulb, Edison invented the phonograph, the first device to record and play sound, and the motion picture camera, which started the movie industry. By the end of his life, he held 1 through 93 patents. Who invented the light bulb in New York? The light bulb was invented by Thomas Alva Edison, a famous American inventor, in 1879. Although he was not the first to work on electric light, he was the one who created the first practical and long-lasting light bulb. Edison conducted his experiments in Menlo Park, New Jersey, which is near New York, and was later known as his invention hub. He tested thousands of materials to find the perfect filament that would glow without burning out quickly. Finally, he discovered that a carbon filament worked best in a vacuum-sealed glass bulb. This invention changed the world by allowing people to have safe and reliable light in their homes and workplaces. Before this, people mostly used candles, oil lamps, and gas lights. Edison's invention led to the development of the electric power industry in New York and other major cities. His work helped make electricity more accessible and affordable. Today, Edison is remembered as one of the most important inventors in history. He invented the light bulb in New York. Detailed answer. The invention of the light bulb is one of the most important achievements in human history. Although several scientists worked on electric lighting before him, it was Thomas Alva Edison who is most widely credited with inventing the first practical, affordable, and long-lasting electric light bulb. He began his experiments in the late 1870s at his laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey, which was close to New York and often called the Invention Factory. Edison was not the first person to try making electric light. In fact, inventors like Humphrey Davy, Joseph Swan from Britain, and Warren de la Rue had created early versions of electric lamps. However, their bulbs either didn't last long, were too expensive, or were too dangerous for home use. Edison wanted to make a bulb that could stay on for hours and be used safely in homes and businesses. He and his team tested over 6,000 different materials to find the perfect filament, the part of the bulb that glows when electricity passes through it. After much trial and error, they discovered that carbonized bamboo worked best. In October 1879, Edison successfully demonstrated a bulb that stayed lit for more than 13 hours. With further improvements, he made bulbs that could last up to 200 hours. This invention laid the foundation for the modern electrical industry. Edison later established the Edison Electric Light Company, which built some of the first electrical power stations in New York City. His work not only changed how people lived and worked, but also led to the growth of cities and industries around the world. The light bulb became a symbol of innovation and modern life. Today, we use advanced forms of lighting like LEDs, but it all started with Edison's breakthrough in the 19th century. That's why Thomas Edison is often called the father of the light bulb. Even though he built on the work of many inventors before him, Edison died in 1931 at the age of 84. On the night of his funeral, people all across America turned off their lights for a few moments to honor the Wizard of Light. Lessons from Edison's life. Failure is not the end. It's part of the process. Weakness can be turned into strength. Hard work and determination can make the impossible possible.